All right. Well, miracles as evidence for God, and here I think the evidentialist camp is probably most known for this, or focused on this, or we I think everyone likes the idea of miracles, even the unbeliever, because they're so unique and different for the definition of miracles. And so evidentialists believe that miracles, like fulfilled prophecy, can be used in the verification of the supernatural, whereas classical apologists tend to argue that one must first establish the existence for God in order to render miracles credible. Evidentialists argue that miracles can actually serve as evidence for the existence of God. There's a weird thing that happens. This apple is floating in midair. That seems to be something supernatural. There's no string, there's no magician. It's just happened. So, what do we do with this? Something supernatural.
Don't eat it. Don't eat it. Whatever you do.
Stay away from fruit. That's all I know.
That's all I know. So they use Francis Beckwith as their example here, and he defines the term miracle inductively or empirically rather than deductively. So for Beckwith, he says that a miracle is a divine intervention which occurs contrary to the regular course of nature within a significant historical religious context. So that's really interesting here. So notice a miracle is scientifically inexplicable, religiously significant, and supernaturally or divinely caused, right? So those are the three aspects that Beckwith uses in order to help him define what a miracle is.
Right. And you can be a person that focuses on only one of those aspects as being interesting or wanting to focus on, and someone else might find the religious significance or the source or the inexplicability of science to explain it as being a focus. And so that's the interesting portion of the kind of this inductive approach, is that the kind of the message of the miracle can hit different people in a different way. Well, regarding the first mentioned requirement, Beckwith denies that a miracle must be defined as an event that can be known to be permanently inexplicable scientifically. He contends that a miracle is inexplicable in terms of what we know about currently well-established scientific laws. Beckwith also points out that the science's problem-solving capacity has been completely impotent in making any of the primary law-violating miracles of the Christian tradition scientifically explicable. That is, the resurrection, changing water into wine, walking through walls, levitating, multiplying fishes and loaves, instantaneous healing of leopards, and walking on water. There's no, Jesus had a very long mirror that he walked on in the water, and you just couldn't see it. And so that's how we know he did his little parlor trick. No, there's no scientific one other than just dismissing all of it. That's where science comes in.
Right. Beckwith's second condition for an event to be regarded as a miracle is that it has a historical religious significance, right? Miracles are not just purposeless and bizarre scientific oddities, but they occur in such a way that the purpose is attached to them by virtue of when and why they occur. And so if an event is scientifically inexplicable and has historical religious significance, then Beckwith concludes that we are justified in concluding that the event was supernaturally caused.
So, sorry, babies, you are regulated against being a miracle. So, yep. Well, then Hume has enunciated the evidentialist principle that a wise man proportions his belief to the evidence. But Beckwith concludes that Hume did not live by this principle because he confused evidence with probability. He failed to realize, this is Beckwith, he failed to realize that the wise and intelligent person bases his or her convictions on evidence, not on human probability. That is, an event's occurrence may be improbable in terms of past experience and observation, but current observation and testimony may lead one to believe that the evidence for the event is good. Well, I didn't see anything weird up until this day. All of a sudden, I saw a spaceship floating in the sky. Well, I didn't see a spaceship 365 days before. I saw it on this one. I should dismiss this one as an oddity. No, the spaceship coming out of the sky is a big key factor for me at the time of this writing.
Right. What about Hume's argument that miracle stories of different religions cancel out one another? Well, Beckwith replies that some miracle stories are of more profound significance than others, and that the most impressive and significant kind of miracle is resurrection from the dead, right? And so after he deals with these various Humean types of arguments here, only after at this point does Beckwith then discuss God's existence. So notice he believes a miracle can be identified as such without first establishing God's existence. Still, he recognizes that providing a good reason to believe in a God capable of doing miracles makes it more probable and plausible to believe, and that particular event is indeed a miracle.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, we see here a telling, even defining differences between the evidentialist and the classical apologist. The evidentialist is not closed to using theistic arguments to make belief in God more plausible or acceptable. Unlike the classical apologist, though, he does not think such arguments are necessary. According to the evidentialism, the historical evidence for God's intervention in space and time is sufficient of itself to establish God's existence. So that's where they're planting their flag here.
Yeah.